Hi guys, and welcome to this week's first decimal lesson. So your I can statement is I can represent and describe decimals, and we're going to be working on equivalent decimals this week. So let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to be comparing tenths and hundredths, and we're going to look at our first example here. We have 1/10 and we have 10 hundredths. And if you look at the pictures, you can see that the values are actually equal. They're the same. 1/10 is equal to 10 hundredths, which is then equal to 10 cents, because we know that 10 cents and 10 hundredths are equal. However, you need to be very careful. 1/100th is not equal to 1/10 or 10 hundredths. If you look at the pictures, you can see that 1/100th is way smaller than 10 hundredths and 1/10. Now this rule applies to all the decimals up to 9/10 or 90 hundredths. So if we scroll down here, we have 2/10 is equal to 20 hundredths, which is equal to 20 cents, but it is not equal to 2 hundredths. Okay, and we go down to 3/10, 30 hundredths and 30 cents, 4/10, 40 hundredths, 40 cents, again with 5/10, 50 hundredths and 50 cents, 6/10, 60 hundredths and 60 cents, 7/10, 70 hundredths and 70 cents, 8/10, 80 hundredths and 80 cents, and then all the way to 9/10, 90 hundredths and 90 cents. Now the reason why the tenths and hundredths are equal when we have 8/10 and 80 hundredths, hundredths are 10 times smaller than the tenths. So each of the 10 blocks have been broken up again into 10 equal pieces, and that's why 8/10 and 80 hundredths are equal. So let's go ahead and do a few examples together. So we're going to be comparing some tenths and hundredths. So I'm gonna get my pen tool out here. And our first example, we have 9/10 and we have 85 hundredths. Now, if you think back to our examples, we know that 9/10 is equal to 90 hundredths, and we're comparing it to 85 hundredths. Now, just because this has 2 digits doesn't mean that it's bigger. Be very careful. Remember that 9/10 is actually equal to 90 hundredths. So in fact, 9/10 is greater than 85 hundredths. Let's go to our next example. So we have 46 hundredths and we are comparing it to 3/10. We know that 3/10 is actually equal to and equivalent to 30 hundredths. So we know that 46 hundredths is greater than 3/10. Let's go to our next example. So we have 60 hundredths and we have 6/10. Well, we know that 6/10 is actually equivalent to 60 hundredths. So we're going to go ahead right here and put in an equal sign. Our next example here has 2/10 and 2 hundredths. Now we know that 2 hundredths is not equal to 2/10 and to 20 hundredths. It is way smaller. So 2/10 is greater than 2 hundredths. Our last one here is 14 hundredths and we have 1/10. So if we take our pen here, we know that 1/10 is actually equal to 10 hundredths, and 14 hundredths is greater. So 14 hundredths is greater than 1/10. So now you guys are going to go into Google Classroom, and I would like you to complete your equivalent decimals Jamboard. Good luck!